Hello ladies and gentlemen, you are about to witness a one-of-a-kind, most excellent Qliphort deck profile. I took it to my locals last weekend. I went 6-0 undefeated, took the finals. I only got 4 packs for winning, but that is okay because I stomp along to the competition. I will tell you about my matchups and how they went after the profile. If you want to hang around for that, do so, and if not, just enjoy the profile, and we'll get right into it. First up, to start off the main deck, we run 3 Qliphort Carrier and 3 Qliphort Helix. These are the 1 tribute Qliphort monsters. They get their effects when they are tributed. Qliphort Helix getting its effect to target a spell or trap on the field and destroy it when it's tributed, and Qliphort Carrier getting its effect to target a monster on the field and return it to the hand. Both are extremely good effects, and because of the back row threats we have currently in the game, we have the 3 Helix rather than 2, which I was considering for a long time, but through vigorous testing, this is the best way to do it. Trust me, everybody else does it, and I do it as well. That is for the 1 tribute monsters. For the larger monsters, we have something a little bit different, a little bit out of the ordinary. We run 2 Qliphort Stealth and 2 Qliphort Disc. Now, most people run 1 Disc and 3 Stealth, because Stealth, its effect where you can target on a card on the field, return it to the hand. You can do it to your own scout for double searches, you can do it to opponent's problematic cards, and they can't respond. It's a phenomenal effect. However, in my personal opinion and in my personal experiences, that's not necessary 3 times in a single duel. I think it's a bit excessive. And the other side of this, where 2 and 2 I think is the best number, is Disc is not only used for an OTK, but also to gain advantage over your opponent. So if your opponent has a couple more cards than you, a little bit of advantage, you can summon the first Stealth and have those 2 ready and on command for your next Pendulum Summon next turn, and be able to make a game push immediately after that. And it's really a surprise factor. Your opponent's not prepared for 2 Disc in a deck, so if they get rid of the 1 and they become comfortable at that point in the duel, and then suddenly you whip out a second one, throws them off a little bit, and it's a good thing to have. So 2 of each of those. And to go with the rest of the effect monsters, we run 2 Qliphort Shell and 1 Qliphort Cephalopod. Now, this is quite uncommon. I know almost nobody plays this card, and Shell is always seen as a one-of, or yeah, that's pretty much it. Qliphort Shell is a phenomenal effect in my opinion. It gets double attack when it's tributed for, and it has piercing damage. So if you're playing a deck that's very defensive, you can summon this, slap a bit of damage on the board, attack over their stuff, and then attack again. It's pretty great. Some people think it doubles its attack, and that is also used to your advantage because if you speak fast and they don't understand, a little bit sly, but get a little bit of extra damage in there that they weren't expecting. And Qliphort Cephalopod has a phenomenal effect in later game state versus Shadal's, Burning Abyss, anything with a large number of monsters in grave. You basically burn for the amount of stuff that they have in grave more than you as far as monsters are concerned. And since you don't have any monsters in the grave, unless they're pulling some crazy shenanigans, you are in an excellent place. So this is a good late game, and it's a 9 scale, and one of the things that I was struggling with in this deck is to keep the scales consistent and the same, so the extra 9 scale was extremely necessary. So that is it for the effect Qliphort monsters. For the vanillas, 2 Scout, because it searches everything in the deck. Everything in the deck is designed around getting this, and it's hard to play without. So 2. And 1 Monolith, because drawing is good. They're not going to want to MST this, or be trying to out other things, such as your back row because you're a pro, and your scout because it's necessary. So you basically just get free draws for days. A second one's never necessary. Summoner's Art is never dead. Keep that in mind. Going to finish the Pendulum monsters, we have 2 Perform Repel Trampolinks. This card is phenomenal to open with Scout, as you get 2 searches, and you basically, if 2 or 3 turns goes by without them being able to out either this or the Scout, you're so far ahead that you basically automatically win that game. It's almost an automatic side out against everything. In fact, I always do side this out. Anything that you need to side in, you got 2 open slots that you can just remove from your main deck, so it's good in that situation as well. And then for the final 3 monsters we play 3 Effective Veiler. Effective Veiler is the best hand trap of the format, and it has been for a while. It's good against everything, except for a vanilla deck, which you should win against, so, don't even need to worry about that ever being dead. Except in the mirror match, in which case, yeah, 3 more things to side out. So, yeah, 3 Veiler. That was 20 monsters. Moving on to the spells, we play 3 Summoner's Art. This card searches out your Scout and your Monolith when you really feel like it. Phenomenal card, that's what it does. You don't need it at more than 3, because you can't run it at more than 3. Get it? Cool. So, 2 Pot of Duality, it's kind of like a mini searcher. You can look for, dig through your deck a little bit, you find your Scouts, any of the monsters that you're missing from your hand, any floodgates, traps, basically anything you really need, and summoning in this special form is not always necessary with the deck, as you can tribute, so this really doesn't have a huge downside, and 2 means that you'll never draw it when you really don't want it, unless you're a horribly unlucky person, in which case you should not be playing this game. 2 MSTs, used in the mirror match, used against every match, and it's basically just a phenomenal card. Yes, you should be running 2 in every deck, but this deck also runs 2. Professional, I know. For the 1-ofs, we play 3, 1 Regeki, because it's the best card ever. Destroy monsters, how could you go wrong? 1 Book of Moon, it's an extremely versatile card. When the Djinn lock was a thing, which it is not, thank you for doing one thing correct, Konami, it outed the Djinn, it outs certain targeting conditions, it outs battle, it's just an amazing card, and we have to have it, because it's very shiny. And then the last 1-of we play is 1 Sacrifice. You're going to want to have this card turn 1, turn 2, be tributing 1 monster for 2 monsters, and basically search your Scout that you didn't already have, or cool things like that. You can MST this, and then just get a Scout if you didn't already have a Scout and you open to this instead, which that would be magical, but this is good in that situation as well. So if you find that you have a horrible hand, then you don't really have a horrible hand. No big deal. 11 spells, I do believe, or 10, I don't care to count again. Moving on to the traps. We play 3 Fiendish Chain because it's a phenomenal trap card. It does target, which is unfortunate, but it outs effects and it outs battle. 2 things that you really don't want coming at you, so a phenomenal card. We run it at 3. Most excellent. 2 go along with those, but not really. 2 Mirror Force, because your opponent doesn't expect it. You're running a meta deck, why would you run Mirror Force? It's a horrible card. Actually, it's a phenomenal card, because when they think that it's not a Mirror Force, because you said it turn 1 and you've been taking damage the whole game, and then suddenly you spring a Mirror Force on them, when they commit all the resources to the board, and their stuff's suddenly gone, they have no bird, they have no bush, and you can OTK them next turn. Phenomenal. Absolutely lovely. For the Floodgate, traps as you will, 1 Skill Drain because it's at 1, and 1 Vanity's Emptiness because it's at 1. This card hinders your opponent and helps you. This card hinders your opponent and helps you. That shouldn't be legal, but it is, so we do it. What can I say? And then traps that are good in basically every matchup ever. 1 Solemn Warning because it's a phenomenal card, has amazing card art, and I do say so myself, it is quite lovely. And then the Bottomless Trap Hole, because Bottomless Trap Hole is a phenomenal card, and we don't really want your opponent to have monsters, so banish that trash. That is it for the complete and final main deck. 40 cards exactly. Don't run more unless you're a casual filthy scrub. What can I say? Moving on to the side deck, because the main deck is fresh in our minds, we have 2 Majesty's Fiend to go along with our 2 Vanity's Fiend. Basically the only relevant Floodgate monsters in the game besides Spell Canceller, which I don't have funds for at the current moment, so deal with it. These cards go in almost every matchup. Obviously sign out the 2 cats for 2 of these because they're good against everything. Vanity's Fiend against certain things as well, but not quite as potent. And then 2 of this, which should in fact be the 2 Spell Counselors, but again, I don't have $60 for 2 cards. I don't know about the rest of you, but that is a bit over excessive, thank you very much. That card never goes in if I had to be honest, but it's there. And it takes up a slot in my 15 card extra deck, so why not? This is a side deck. What can I say? The Monarch Stormforth we run 2 of because when you want to side in your relevant Floodgate monsters, you want to side in a way to get those relevant Floodgate monsters. So the Monarch Stormforth. And then the 3rd MST because you have to have 3 MSTs somewhere in your deck, and so I thought I might as well throw in a gold, ugly, rare one in the extra deck because this is an extra deck. In fact, that was a true fact. Double Mind Crush in this side deck because, what can I say, Necros is unfortunately a thing, should not be legal, but this deck's legal, so why can't Necros be? I don't know. I'm a complainer. 2 Shadow Imprisoning Mirror because some people still play those horrible decks called Burning Abyss and Shaddolls, and even though I have a decent matchup against Shaddolls anyway, I like to just kind of take their cards and take a little poop on them. So that's why I run that card. And then 2 Imperial Iron Wall because, well, it's good against Infernoids, it's good against Ritual Beasts, it's good against Volcanics, it's good against Noble Knights, the list goes on, and I sided in quite often in my locals because people play those horrible decks that are actually really good, and I want to get my hands on, but I'm a poor boy, nobody loves me. Alright, moving on to the extra deck. We have an extra deck, even though we never use it, but I'll show you what I have. It's basically just a rank 4 toolbox with a couple 6 Synchros monsters thrown in there because they were shiny and they took up slots. First, the number 101 Silent Honor Arc. Steal your opponent's stuff. Why not? Number 82, Heartland Draco, because it attacks directly, and it's a pink dragon that whines. It's a little winder. Yeah, that's right. 1 Diamond Dire Wolf. It's a horrible card. Don't use it, but it's here. Number 80, Rhapsody and Berserk. Benedict Junk used this in a match against a Necroz deck in which he totally stomp-alomped. It was phenomenal, and I ran it ever since. It's a great card. If you haven't seen that match, go dig for it. I'm not going to give you a link because I'm too lazy. Number 50, Black Strip of Corn. Phenomenal card, except for it's not. Don't do this. Don't ever do that. This is a horrible card. Photon Papilloperative. I don't even know what it does personally. It's just a rank 4. Lovely. This was the first rank 4 that I ever laid eyes on. It's in all my extra decks, even if I can't make it, so don't judge me. Abyss Dweller, phenomenal card. I don't even know what it does. It's blue. It's got a dragon. Underwater. Great. Gagaga Cowboy. I never used this card, ever, but it might be a good idea at some point to try that out. What can I say? Number 103, Ragnazero. I heard it's good in the mirror match. I wouldn't know. I beat people too fast to even understand that I'm playing a mirror match until afterward when they're crying. 1 Teller Knight Ptolemaeus, because it can help you make this card, which basically takes another big dump on Shaddolls. So let's get this straight. Phenomenal main deck matchup against Shaddolls. Phenomenal side deck matchup against Shaddolls. Phenomenal extra deck matchup against Shaddolls. That deck shouldn't even... They should just scoop twice in a row, let you just take the victory, and move on to whatever their next round is. They should deal with it. That was 12 Exceed monsters, all rank 4, except for 1, rank 5. The last 3 extra deck monsters that we play are the Naturia Beast, because if you could make this against Necroz, which you can, even though it's impossible, it would be phenomenal. I would love to see that day happen for me, but it hasn't yet. But I will tell you when it does. 1 Black Rose Dragon, because it's a very shiny, very fancy, very phenomenal card. 2400 attack, it's a plant? No, it's not, it's a dragon. I fooled you, but you looked, didn't you? Alright, and then the Star Eater. Yes, you can make the Star Eater. No, I'm not going to tell you how, because you can pause the video, count the stars, and figure it out. Alright? What can I say? But it's very shiny, it was my first Synchro monster, and it's in all my decks, even if I can't make it. So, yeah. Thank you for the... Oh, no, wait. Hold on, just a wee Ricky tick. I have to tell you how my matchups went. Well, I went 6-0, 4 rounds of Swiss, 1 round in the semifinals, 1 round in the finals. My first matchup was against a Noble Knight player. He bought the structure deck that was overpopularized, $50. That's a bit excessive if you ask me. And I smoked him in like, I don't know, 10 minutes? Yeah, it was sad. It was unfortunate for him, but what can I say? I took the game win and went on to round 2. Round 2, I played a Volcanic player. I 2-0'd them as well. It was very swift, very fast. Hopefully not too painful, even though it was a little bit painful. What can I say for him? I'm sorry. Game 3, I played a horrible Ignite deck. I think he just opened a couple packs, threw a couple Ignite cards in his vanilla deck, and then called it a deck. And I beat it in like, what, 7 minutes I think it was? Yeah, that sounds about right. And so that was rather unfortunate for him. Game 4, I played against a horrible scrub deck. I don't know how they made it, nor do I remember what it was, but I stomped it quite quickly, and I thought I'd let you know about it. Then, Game 5. Let me tell you, my shop closes at 7 o'clock at night. It was 5 o'clock when I started my round 5. Alright? It was 6:30 when I finished my round 5. It took an hour and a half because there's no time in finals, and it was crazy playing against a Ritual Beast deck. 2-1. It was quite a long, stallish duel. Basically, game 1, we were stalling back and forth because we both had horrible cards. It was intense. And he ended up coming out on top, won game 1. I sided hard. Neither of us saw our side deck, which was quite funny. Quite comical indeed, and I opened skill drain games 2 and 3 and beat him quite swiftly in 20 minutes twice. It was drastically long. Anyway. Then, in the finals, I played a zombie deck. Yeah, I don't know, vampire deck. And I don't know how vampires made it that far, but they did. And it was quite interesting to see his playstyle. He had a pretty good deck. He's a phenomenal pilot, a good friend of mine. But mercy I did not give to him. He lost. Sorry to tell you, bro. 6-0, got 4 packs. Took the tournament. I was quite excited. My first undefeated tournament win. I hope you enjoyed the deck profile, and I hope that you will leave your comments down below about what I should do, what I should change, what you do, and subscribe, like, comment, and share with your friends. Have a good day.